Hello guys, it's Ols. Welcome back to Honey Badger 3D Print and Paint. Today we are taking a look at the Sunlu Filament connector. But before we get started, a word from our sponsor and roll those credits.
PCBWay are proud sponsors of the channel. They offer industry-leading 3D printing services covering all types of materials and processes. They also offer industry-leading online CNC machine services from milling, machining, and turning in all the materials you could possibly need. They also offer a fully online prototyping PCB service. Everything from assembly through to design, you can do it all online with an easy system to use for quotes. So for all of your needs, check out PCBWay in the link in the video description.
Okay, so before we get started, Sunlu are now a sponsor of the channel, and full disclosure, they sent us this product for free to review. We get to keep the product at the end. However, we weren't paid to do this review, and the thoughts and opinions expressed in this video are ours. Sunlu do not have editorial rights. With that out of the way, who is this for? So the filament connector is really for doing two things. It is for joining two pieces of scrap filament together to make one single piece of filament, or it is for taking two partially used spools, joining them together so that you can get more out of, so you can get rid of a lot of the wasted spools of filament that you have. If, like us, you have loads of either samples of filament or 3/4 spools or whatever, this could be something that could be a really useful tool. Let me be clear, this is a tool for a job. So there's been a few people who have said a couple of things that come from areas of either significant privilege or significant underprivilege. So one is saying, oh, you don't need this if you've got an AMS. That is true. However, 95% of the community don't have an AMS, so that's kind of a redundant point. And the other is that you could achieve similar results with a BIC lighter and a PFTE tube. And my answer to that is, yeah, you probably can. And there's been filament joining solutions around for a while. But this is one of the first times that we've got a retail package that does it quite safely, does it repeatably, does it reliably. So, let's take a look at how this works. Should I do that again then? Yeah. So you turn it on. You can see here this is currently set to PLA and it will start immediately heating up. You can switch between different filaments. You press the play button, goes up and down here. You can select different ones there. You can press play again and you can set the target temperature here. And then you leave that to heat up. It will beep at you once it's at temperature, but you'll be able to see once it gets there. This is the filament joined, so you should just be able to see that what I've done is I've cut these two ends at 45 degrees so that they've got the most surface area possible inside. And you want to try and put it so that it's roughly in the middle. So you can see this is heating up as we speak. I will say I've got a little bit of a gripe with this, that it's a power connector port on one side, but it's a USB Type A on the other. I don't really understand what the purpose of that was, why they couldn't have just either made it USB-C powered or give it a power brick and then make it more powerful so that it heats up quicker. It seems odd to me that they've chosen to do it that way. Right, you can see here that we are almost up to temperature. So, you press the silver tab, that pops the lid up. You place the filament inside. You want to make sure that when you place the filament inside, that you put the join in between this metal bit here. So I'm going to do that. It will beep at you to let you know it's clicked down. And then it beeps at you to let you know it's done. We give it to the count of 10 after this. And we found that gets you the best results. There we go. Pop that up. I've then put that straight into the back piece. The filament clips in and it holds it really well while it cools. I'm going to use this fan, which I'm very politely going to put some music over the top so you don't hear all the exhaust noise. You push this down, and that should be 2 joined bits of filament. You can just slide this off, the cut does work, and there you go. You've got 2 joined bits of filament. Okay, so how well does it work? Well, the answer is, for most use cases, it works pretty well. What I'd like to have seen was an option for re-spoolers, where this sits in the middle. You have 2 spools of filament either side. They're probably sort of, only got 30% of them left. You then bring the filament together, you join it, and then you crank a handle and you can re-spool it all onto one spool. I'd have really liked to have seen that, because as it is right now, this is only super useful for taking scrap bits or bits of sort of sample filament or something like that and joining those together. I will also say I'm not a massive fan of these. So these are the little plastic tubes that you see in that video that you put the 2 bits of filament in, but these are one use only. You can slide them off when the filament has cooled down, but really they're supposed to be one use only. I don't really agree with the idea of trying to reduce plastic waste by increasing plastic waste. That being said, it does what it says on the tin. So let's take a little look at how it prints and whether or not it affects quality. So this is the benchy that we did. You can see here that we've got a few colour changes. So there was a scrap bit of black to begin with, then a small piece of red, a black band, a red band, and finally the rest of the spool. You can actually see the way this has worked out is that we got a black deck. I can assure you that was through sheer coincidence, not through skill or calculation, but it has not affected any of the print quality. It's not affected any of the layer lines. There's been no under extrusion. This one was printed on a Quiditech Q1 Pro, but we've also tested it on a Bamboo Labs X1 Carbon with an AMS, and again, there was no impact to quality, speed, or anything, and it fed through the AMS without a problem. So, doesn't affect the results, does what it says on the tin. So, as you can see from that video, it doesn't affect quality at all. Now, as we said in the video, this was printed on a Quiddy Q1 Pro, but we have also done one on a X1 Carbon with an AMS, and there was no bulging, there was no inability to pull the filament through, the filament didn't snap, the join stayed nice and solid, so it really does work. Scores on the doors, should you buy one? These are $30.99. There is a link in the video description. If you use our code, you get 10% off. That is an affiliate code, full disclosure, but it does help the channel out and it doesn't increase the price to you. If anything, you save a little bit of money. I would rate this an 8 out of 10. The reason I rate it an 8 out of 10 is because this does exactly what it says on the tin. It joins 2 pieces of filament together. However, It reduces plastic waste by increasing plastic waste a little bit. It doesn't have filament re-spoolers either side. So if you've got two half-empty spools, you've then got to join them and then go through the process of re-spooling them. And I think that was a bit of a wasted opportunity on Sunlu's part. I think they could have had a relatively simple sort of re-spooler setup that could have really got them what they needed. And I'm just going to say I don't understand the power cord. So, as we said earlier, power connector on one side, USB Type A on the other. Why not either A, make this a USB Type C, or B, make it a power brick, and then it means it can heat up faster. I'm also not a big fan of the fact that you give me a USB, but you don't give me a power brick. So I have to use one of my, I mean, this one's just a cheap one off of Amazon, but like a mobile phone charger to power this. If you're going to give me a USB that ultimately needs a phone charger, you really should include the charger in the box. I get why they didn't. They wanted to keep the box nice and small. There's an awful lot of different adapters out there. Most people already have mobile phones, and most people already have USB mobile phone power bricks. But just would have been nice to have seen it, I suppose. Ultimately, this does what it says it should do. It connects two pieces of filament together. It's a pretty elegant solution for just joining two bits of filament together. It isn't a filament re-spooler. That's why it doesn't have the ability to do it. It isn't an AMS or anything else. This is a tool for a job, and it does its job quite well. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do not forget to like and subscribe, and if you want to check out your own, don't forget to use the code in the video description and you can get 10% off at Sunlu across the board. Thanks very much for joining. Catch you on the next video.